classic English
storytellers who could, you know, they don't really have an age. He's a very ageist, I think, his books.
Well, what about V.S. Pritchard's short stories or Immortality or stuff like that?
V.S. Pritchard, I mean, he was sort of the granddaddy of it all.
Yeah.
What, and Milan Kundera?
Yeah.
That's a totally different sort of thing. I mean, that's the sort of thing I read when I need to feel generally okay about the world.
And did you feel generally okay about the world, or discover yourself, if you like, in between Leisure and Modern Life is Rubbish? Was there something that happened to you in that period of time?
Well, a lot happened. I mean, we had our first backlash, and we're having our second. But we had our first then, and we went to America, and we were very badly received, and our first manager took all our money. We didn't have a great deal, but we were basically ridiculously in debt after that, and our record company were not that interested in what we were doing. So the combination of that, you know, we became ridiculous outsiders, and we were drinking too much when we were playing, and all of that rubbish. And we're just forced to do something. I think we generally work better as an outfit when we think we've got something to prove.
Yeah.
Well, we're not very good at everyone telling us we're great.
Do you get angry when people say that, like, you know, you're either laughing at or patronising the lower classes or the working classes?
Yeah, I do, because I've never actually written about people who live on council estates. I've written about people who live on private estates, who have company cars, and
underneath serious problems.
Yeah, that's all I've ever written about. If they're the people I know about, then I don't know about people who live on tenements in Easter House or whatever.
Yeah. What about the tabloid side of the fact that you're, like, going out with the lead singer of another very successful band? Yeah. Do you try to keep away from that in some ways? Like I say, having you both photographed together, going out for a drink or something. Is that a drag?
We've never really had our photo taken together. We live a very ordinary life, really. I suppose it's something like, you know, if we made too much of it, people could actually puke up when they looked at us, because, you know, there's only a limit to how much good fortune people can cope with, really. And I think I'm pretty lucky.
Did you find it ironic that when, like, you know, Blur were really getting themselves established, and there was Elastica that did it a bit better in the States before you did? Was that funny? It wasn't like a battle like the Oasis Blur thing that was made up. I mean, it was never going to be like that.
Well, no, because we all, I mean, we work together, really. You know, she's as upset as we care about each other's music, and she's good at certain things and I'm better at others, and we just sort of put it all together. You know, we don't just, those records and those ideas don't just haven't just arrived sort of independently of each other. They've come from the same family. We've lived with each other for six years, you know. I mean, it's our thing. Alaska and Blur are related in quite a lot of ways.
Cynic, but my heart's not in it. I'm paying the price of living life at the limit. Caught in centuries, society, yes, it plays on him. Lives in a house, very big house in the country. Watching afternoon repeats and the food he eats in the country. He takes a manner of pills and piles up analyst bills in the country. Oh, it's like an animal farm, that's a rural charm in the country. He's got morning glory and life's a different story. Everything's going Jack and Lori. Dance with his own mortality. He's raising balls and knocking bad blows. It's a helping hand that makes you feel relatively blind. Oh, it's a century's remedy, but it ain't that hard. So he needs a lot of rest.
Do you get annoyed at bands? I don't think I'm talking about any specific band here as such, but maybe don't give enough time to their lyrics. I think it's good enough just to write Moon and June and walking, talking lyrics all the time.
Well, you're talking about, well, I think for me you're talking about Oasis.
Possibly, yeah.
And I think the reason why that works at the moment is because Liam has such a chip on his shoulder for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That whatever he sings, it's convincing.
Got an attitude, yeah.
I mean, I've always felt that. I mean, that's what I feel about that band. You know, I don't rate the songs, but I rate his attitude towards the songs.
Yeah. And then how do you write?
You know, on his own, who knows what it'd be like.
Right, yeah. I mean, you do the lyrics, and what, Graham does the arrangements, is it? Is that the way it goes?
No, I do virtually everything.
Right.
He does his guitar. He does his guitars, and he helps me with the arrangements, but I basically have always done that.
What about something like this, when it's lashing rain at a gig? Does it matter to you, or do you prefer
it always rains at our open-air gigs, so I suspect at the RDS it'll rain again. I mean, that's just
Does it matter?
Happens.
I mean, like, you have the umbrellas down at Fela.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Do you ever feel restricted by Blur? But, like, you know, you've got your own extracurricular solo album to do, this sort of thing.
I hate the idea, I hate the notion of that, because, you know, obviously I could do that, standing on my head. But... No, I'm not tempted by that. I mean, I do film music, and I write songs if I really like somebody, like Terry Hall, I'll do that as well. But I won't actually get involved in other bands. You know, I think I really hate that when that happens.
Do you think in some ways that you're not...
I grew up with Graham, you know.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. Do you think that you're not a working class or middle class band, that you're more an art school band class?
Yeah, that's exactly what we are.